So, if you are a fascist government, what's one of the number one things you want to target? And by things, I mean professions. What's one of the number one professions you want to target in order to make sure that your version of reality is the only accessible one to the general public? Teachers, journalism, media stations. What kind of encompasses all of that? Ah, Malachi over in Twitch chat gets it. You want to control the libraries, son. The libraries are what make journals, books, nonfiction, fiction, technical manuals. It's what makes all of that available to everyone all the time, regardless of where people are in the world, regardless of what level of income, regardless of what level of accessibility to the internet. This is, one of the reasons why Nazi Germany, they did book burns. They burned the books. They banned the books. They got rid of all of the art and then turned it into a traveling exhibit for the art of the degenerate. And you wanted to make sure that you controlled the libraries. Even to this day, libraries are an important hub for community activity, for learning, advancement, etc. And it is worth noting that the most prominent book burnings of Nazi Germany targeted books about LGBTQ people, research about LGBTQ people, which was in its infancy and headquartered in the Weimar Republic. So the Nazis burned it, of course. Well, West Virginia is doing a really interesting thing, guys. Their state house passed a new bill today allowing for the prosecution of librarians. Specifically, allowing for the prosecution of librarians if a child gets access to a book or magazine or piece of media that could be considered inappropriate for them. So basically, any kid going into any library and with their mom or whatever, that conservative mom or dad can now be like, well, this Harry Potter book has witchcraft in it. And it's written by a transphobe. That it's like a weirdly conservative household, but also like supportive of trans rights. That just ain't right. They can go in there and say, this is inappropriate, this is too sexual, and oh, my teenage son looked at porn on your computers in the computer lab. They can, anything like that. The librarians can then be held responsible. Whichever librarian is on call at the time, in the library at the time, can be held responsible for the materials accessed by children within the library. If I were a librarian, time to quit or get rid of all that shit. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what's made the book bans in Florida, for example, so wide-ranging. Effectively, making the schools and teachers liable has them self-purging even before any books get contested, right? So, do they have to get it from the library, or is it just vague, tangential shit? Well, let's take a look at the article from the local news. The Parksburg News and Sentinel. This is from February 17th. All right. The West Virginia House of Delegates debated the merits of removing protections for public librarians and school librarians for criminal possession for criminal prosecution in the off chance a minor encounters books and content some consider to be obscene. I also want to keep in mind. I want you to keep in mind that like libraries have come a long way in the digital age. So like a lot of libraries will provide like the ability to physically or even digitally rent like movie, music, video games, um, like basically any media that ebooks, yeah, any media that a kid could feasibly have access to through the library could then be used to sue the librarians. And like, I don't know if you guys know this about librarians. Librarians aren't the wealthiest people around. Now, I've never met a librarian who's like a high roll, like a high roller, you know? Like I've never met a librarian who is just like, you know, living in the tippy top echelons of society, right? Um, they don't tend to make a lot of money. They just tend to be really passionate about helping people find books and like better themselves and put together like educational programs, and they tend to be very delightful people. Oh, many of them are grandmas. Yeah. It's wild, but let's read on here. HB 4654 would lift criminal liability exemptions from schools in the presentation of local or state approved curriculum and public libraries and museums displaying obscene matter to a minor when the child is not accompanied by a parent/guardian. State code defines obscene matter as anything an average person believes depicts or describes sexually explicit conduct, nudity, sex, or certain bodily functions, or anything a reasonable person would find lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. Any adult knowingly and intentionally displaying obscene matter to a minor could be charged with a felony, fined up to $25,000, and face up to 5 years in prison if convicted. Yeah, so basically anything a child might just come across in a library. And also keep in mind that this is West Virginia. West Virginia, a place not known for its progressive values and bastion of, excellent working man's ethics. No. This is, unfortunately, the kind of place where a Moms for Liberty type organization could roll in and, just disingenuously start throwing accusations about different books, as they please, which is basically what happened with the Florida book bans. So they banned kids from the library? No, they banned librarians from allowing children into libraries, I guess. Yeah.